welcome to the Ultra Running Sam podcast. So quickly, our sponsors. We are proudly sponsored by Ugoku caps. You've seen me wearing them on the podcast. You can get the discount codes from me, send me a message. I'll send them to you. They're floating around. We're also sponsored by Phoenix head torches. Same thing goes. If you're after a discount code, just get in touch. There are there on the web, but if you want them personally from me, I will send them to you. And also, finally, we are proudly sponsored by Home Trails. So Home Trails is my YouTube series interviewing famous trail runners from hopefully around the world at some point. In the UK at the moment, where we interview them on the trail in the home trails. You understand what it is, don't you? You've listened to the show. That's hopefully turning into a bit of a brand, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, on with the actual show. Okay, yes, we are recording. So welcome to TURA 2024, the Trail and Ultra Running Awards 2024. Welcome to my co-host Robin, and also to Kate, the temporary co-host, because she's about to disappear and go out for a lovely dinner somewhere in the Alps. Where are you?
I am in Alpe d'Huez, and yeah, I've got serious FOMO here that this has all been arranged while I'm on holiday.
You arranged it for when you were on holiday.
I didn't. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think this is the start of something really good and great, and I'm really pleased that Run Archer is part of it. And yeah, I'm really excited to see who gets all the awards, all the excitement. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. So have a great evening. I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a great evening. I'm going to go off and recover from my very, very poor skiing. And yeah, let me know how it all goes. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Enjoy your holiday and try not to hurt yourself snowboarding tomorrow.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
So Run Ultra has left the building. So I appreciate Kate coming on and taking time out of her holiday to come and speak to us. We go through this. Yeah, I'm sure she arranged her holiday. So they arranged when we were doing this. So it was while she was on holiday, so she didn't have to do any of the donkey work like we've been doing.
Yeah, probably. Have you gone live on your Insta?
No, sorry. I will go live now. So let's see how chaotic this could be. Right. Swap the camera around, so that would help.
So we're going to be going in reverse order tonight. So we'll be starting with the best bits of trail running kit.
Yeah.
I've got the results ready for when you're ready.
Yeah. If anyone's joined the live, I'll just sort of say hello to everybody on the Instagram live. So we've just literally just started recording the TURA 2024, the live awards. So if I don't pay attention to the live, it's because I'm trying to juggle a laptop, an iPhone, and a tablet as well to try and figure out what we're doing. And we've had some moments with technology so far, haven't we, Robin? So we're doing our best. So just bear with us and just let me know if you can hear things okay, and we'll start going through the awards now, and hopefully this will all make sense. So obviously, as you can see, I'm wearing a suit because this is a black tie event. We're drinking champagne. We're not really drinking champagne. I'm just pretending to drink champagne. I had this from the weekend. But yeah, by all intents and purposes, this is an award show. So bear with us. Right. So, Robin, firstly, I just wanted to just sort of get your thoughts on how you think we've done with with these awards going forwards.
I think we've done a decent job for how quickly we've tried to put it together. I appreciate you were talking about it a lot longer before I came to view it at all. But I think we've got a good bunch of categories. Maybe they're not all perfect, but I'm sure we can iron out a few of the issues for next year. And we got a decent number of votes for everything. I'm really happy with the just
How many? How many? How many did we get? How many people took part in the survey? Exactly.
overall. I think it was about 1,400.
Oh no. Oh yeah. So actually completed.
Yeah,
Actually,
completed. Yeah,
so I'm guessing that. Yeah. Yeah. So I think there was people that sort of opened it up and then didn't finish completing it, or just thought, oh, I'll come back to that,
yeah,
uh,
exactly.
and I'll do that later. So yeah. So I think there was about 2,000 people opened the survey, but obviously not everybody like finished off filling out all the voting form and stuff. So there's about, you say 1,400. I'm trying to
Yes.
find it. I can't find the number on my.
There was people. Sorry, a lot of people. It doesn't matter the exact
Yeah,
number.
it doesn't matter the exact number, but lots of people, lots of people
All
did
right,
it.
if we get into it, we've got 13 categories here.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
more
Sorry,
actually.
sorry. Thanks, Robin, for keeping us on track. Right, 30. We're going to go in reverse order, aren't we? Down to the big one. So, what do we start with first then, for people that aren't
Best bit of trail running kit.
best bit of trail running kit? Wow, there was a lot of suggestions on here, and I know that you've worked hard to try and collate some stuff together. So, what have you sort of found with this? Who's the winner?
So yeah, the Montaigne Gecko pack won, as it was a suggested comment, and then Dex Shell waterproof socks quite close behind. Then the Ron Hill core jacket after that. A lot of people went through the trouble of writing the Salomon ADV Skin 12 vest,
Yeah,
which I too have as well, so can vouch
yeah,
for that one. Uh, Quite a lot of Harrier carbon poles, Harrier Exmoor jackets, in GG socks,
yeah.
and OMM core hoodie got a few votes as well. I'm gonna have to look at that one.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's not one that I'm familiar with. Yeah, basically, I mean, there's a lot of kit
Yeah,
that's been listed there, isn't there? But um, it seems to be, yeah, the outright winner was the Montaigne Gecko pack. So that, whether that's sort of more geared towards sort of the people that we're sort of talking to, are people that are, involved with the spine race possibly, or sort of
mm.
interested in the spine race. That's something that they've found particularly useful. And I know that it was one of the things that I suggested on there for that category, because I know how much I love that pack, and I know loads of people love that pack. Some for honourable mentions for Geeky Hiker, Chest Pod. I know
Yeah,
that they are seem to be all over the place. So there was plenty of votes in there, but the clear winner was the Montaigne Gecko pack, and I think Innovate did pretty well, didn't they, with lots of other bits
yeah,
of kit, but nothing specific.
and also two people just wrote buff, which I liked, because what else do you need?
That's it. Yeah, buff. Yeah, it works for lots of stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Buff. Brilliant. Okay. Right. What are we on to next?
the
Category
trail shoe.
trail shoe. Did you manage to sort of collate this together?
Yes, yes. So we've got the winner was the Hoka Speedgoat 6,
Yeah.
by quite far, and then after that, the just Solomon S Lab, which I suppose could be a number of shoes, because there's a few Solomon S Labs. There
Yeah.
were a lot of people writing Trailfly, Innovate Trailfly, which I expected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
There is
yeah.
a lot of trail flies in there. Yeah.
Mm,
So we're just like scanning down the list of ones that people have suggested. Innovate is very very high up there with different shoes, but the clear winner was Hoka on it.
yeah,
Speed
it was. Yeah.
Goat 6.
Few Trail Talons, a few Adidas Agravix Speed Ultras, Merrell with Sportiva. Yeah, just a whole bunch of pretty much every other trail shoe on the market.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's one of them questions, isn't it? It's like, what's your what's your favorite color? What's your favorite beer? It's, you're gonna get a million answers, aren't you? But I think obviously the way that we've gone with it, and we put suggestions in there, didn't we, as a sort of a guide, and that was one of the things that we wanted to sort of make clear at the start of when we started doing this, that the suggestions were just that, weren't they? They were just suggestions on just to get people thinking about what they could vote for. But going forward, we're going to alter that, aren't we? We're going to do two surveys, aren't we? We're going to do
Yes,
one where we send it out so that people can make suggestions, and then we'll take the most popular, and then they will become the ones to vote on, won't they?
exactly, exactly. And it'll be a big shake-up. I'm sure it'll be bit more accurate. I've just requested to join you live. I don't know whether that will improve things or not.
I don't know.
Should we just leave it as is?
Um, no, I think yeah, because you can only hear me through there, but I don't know
Yeah.
if we start getting loads of feedback and stuff, then
Okay, we'll just leave it. We'll just leave it.
yeah, leave that.
Best trail running brand. Innovate won by miles, then Montaigne, then Salomon. There were a load of votes for in the other for Harrier. Again, people taking time out to just type Harrier as opposed to clicking one of the other ones says a lot.
Yeah.
And there was one person who voted for underwear.
Obviously means a lot to that one person.
Really does. Yeah, if they didn't care about any of those big ones, underwear needed that shout out.
But that is, yeah, you are right there. That's quite right that Harrier does make an appearance. Nice local brand to us. Kate
Yeah,
from Harrier, local in Derbyshire. So
yeah,
it's
loads of good
nice
stuff.
nice to see a local brand doing well. Yeah, but yeah, Innovate clearly the leaders there with basically half of all the votes
Yeah,
more or less went to Innovate there. So that was a good.
almost a monopoly of the market.
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose it is representative as well, isn't it? Really, because they're such a big
Mm,
brand, aren't they, in the UK? So you can completely understand that.
yeah,
And scrolling through to the next
yeah. Speaking of
category.
local brands, let's
Yeah,
go with the local grassroots race company.
yeah. So I wanted to just sort of chat about this one because I know Stu is actually on. You're on, aren't you, Stu? Stu can give us a wave, or you don't have to put your camera on. Don't worry. He's in the he's actually on the Zoom meeting. Um, so this is obviously like oh, Stu just said hi on the
Yeah,
on the chat. Thanks for coming on, Stu. Yeah, so sort of special mention goes out to Stu at Ranger Ultras. So Ranger Ultras was the first one of the first like race companies that I went and sort of did races with in the Peak District when I discovered trail running proper. And I think I probably still, possibly I still hold, maybe I still hold a course record, but I think the course changed after that, so I'll hold that course record forever for for
every conversation you get that into.
peak south and north.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's nothing like resting on your laurels and basking on past glories. But yeah, that was one of Stu's races was the first race I ever won, so they have like a special place. So that's why Ranger Altars were like my number one suggestion for that. But obviously, then there's Big Bear, another local, fairly like Midlands based one, and
mhm.
then the other category, and then we had a clear winner, didn't we? And they'll be pleased to know because I think they've put a lot of hard work into promoting themselves for this,
Yeah.
haven't they? Who won?
Rasselbach running one.
Rasselbot. Yeah, he won.
Yeah, yeah. Well done to them. It was pretty close voting to be
Yeah,
said
true.
between
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. There were quite a few votes in it for Bisvecken, the Cornish events races. So they've got some
Yeah,
cool named races like Smugglers, Scuttler, and one called just Run Like Hell.
like hell, yeah. That
Yeah.
sounds like a
But
race.
yeah, loads of people type them out, so it must be very popular. Also, Hardmoors, lots of votes for them.
Yeah,
Punk Panther,
yeah. Punk Panther.
Purple Gecko,
Yeah, peak
and
running.
yeah, and one person even put fell races, and you don't
Oh,
get more grassroots than that.
that is true. quite quite a broad brush of the stroke there with fell races.
To be fair, they specifically said the Tuesday night series in North Wales.
Brilliant. Well, it obviously means a lot to someone, and that's the whole point, isn't it, with this category that um,
Exactly.
grassroots race companies, so not your like all singing, all dancing like mega brands. This is
Mhm.
about like local companies putting on local races for local people. Are you local? And all
Yeah.
of that. So yeah, great shout out to Russell Bock for taking that, and Big Bear close seconds, and then Ranger Ultras were followed that up with 20% of the vote. So well done, everyone. Appreciate you getting people voting for you. What's next?
Up and coming runner of
Oh,
2024.
no. Here we are. We're on to this subject. Right, where's Sarah Perry? Is she on the live, or is she in the waiting room trying to get into the Zoom meeting to try and virtually punch me in the face?
I think she's outside my front door.
It's possibly waiting for me at the end of the street. Yeah, so admittedly, hands up, we this was one that we kind of, well, I dropped the ball on this. This is my fault. So I naively put a couple of names in there as suggestions, thinking that people would understand that the way that I sort of viewed it, that these awards are recognizing people that have done like spectacular things in running. So when we're talking about like people like Jasmine Paris and Jack Scott, and Tara Dower and stuff like that, people that have done spectacular things that everybody knows about. So me mentioning two names who I won't mention wasn't a slight against them. It was that they'd done great things, and they were going to go on and do even greater things like the other people that are probably at the top of the categories further up. So yeah, so we caught a bit of we caught a bit of flack for this, and
Yeah.
my good friend Sarah Perry, I feel like we're friends. We've done a podcast together. Admittedly, she didn't want to do that even in the first place, but she was quite rightly sort of called us out on this. So we corrected that. So this is the whole thing we've been saying since the start, since we set this up, is that this is a work in progress. We're not profiteering from this. This is in no way like benefiting us, other than like sucking our time and funds to be able to put it on. But we want it to be something special every year. And part of that is that it's got to sort of evolve as the years go on. So this is the first iteration of it. This is sort of testing the waters, seeing if if there is a market for it, that people want to see it every year. And that is basically what we've heard, isn't it? That people really want these awards. We may not have got it perfect the first time, so we appreciate everybody's sort of patience with it. So if anybody was offended by any of the suggestions, then I'll hold my hand up and accept that. So, but it was never meant in that way. It was always sort of just to encourage everybody in the sport. So, Robin, just talk. I'll stop.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So with that in mind, we've elected to ignore the votes of the two mentioned athletes, and I've delved into the other mentions, which are more accurate, we feel, for who is actually an up and coming runner. So after sifting through there, and I should say there were 54 votes for Claire Heaviside, who is a fellow member of High Peak Runners and a great runner, but I'm not sure worthy of winning the award. So that was quite a surprise to see the landslide victory for her. But no offense to her,
Inside job. That
I
sounds
love
like
her
an
very
inside.
much. But yeah, I think someone's managed to try and beat the system there. Anyway, so we've decided to give the award to Caspian James,
Caspian
who
James.
yeah, who's just won the race across Scotland, setting a new FKT for that course, and also for a specific right of way across Scotland. And he also won 13 Valleys as well. And as far as I can see from his results prior to this year, he's never been that sort of runner. So it looks to me he's burst on the scene, and he very much is ready to take on the world. So well done, Caspian.
Yeah, well done, Caspian. And if anyone has any complaints with that, then take it up with you because you picked him.
Yeah, yeah, I can take it up with me. That's fine. This is where I find out he was junior fell racing champ or something for like 5 years running.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, amazing. Next one,
Next, yeah,
Li-
lifetime contribution. Yeah,
lifetime contribution award, and I hope that Damien Hall wasn't offended by me suggesting him for this. And I'm not in any way saying that he's like long in the tooth, um, but just that, yeah, when you think about people that have contributed a lot to running, to trail running, UK trail running over the years, he's made a name for himself, hasn't he, in those circles. So along with Nicky Spinks and Ian Keith was one of the other ones that was suggested. And then obviously, did you have a chance to
yeah.
look down? And I just want to pull out a name out of there, Andy Nuttall. Andy Nuttall, you are not a lifetime contributor to running. I know that because I know who you are. But well done for suggesting yourself.
I should say for almost every single category, the Brig Boys came up as an answer in other as well. But we had a few people voting for Joss Naylor,
Yes, yeah,
and a few for Jasmine Paris as well.
yeah.
Just Joss Naylor, yeah, would have been a great shout if we'd included it in suggestions. I'm sure that may well have pipped, but Nikki Spinks, I mean, her record speaks for itself, doesn't it? Doing all the doubles of all the rounds, the only person still to have done that, I think, that in itself is unbelievable.
Mm. Yeah, it's she's amazing, isn't she? So she was well over half the votes, didn't she? 51%
Yeah.
of the votes went to Nikki Spinks for lifetime contribution award. I'm sure she doesn't feel like, she's coming towards the end of her racing career. There's probably many more years that she wants to be racing. And I know that she's still taking part in big
Mm.
races, puts her own races on up in Scotland and stuff. So other sort of honourable mentions. So Ian Keith was one that I threw in there because he's been trucking for a long time, and has been like a big name in at the Spine race. But obviously people had chucked in like Billy Bland, um,
Mm.
Bobby Cullen made an appearance in there.
Yeah,
There's Kim Collison. Obviously, it's
yeah,
a who's who of ultra running and trail running. So
it's a great list.
yeah, it's a good list. But yeah, Nikki Spinks was the clear winner with that one, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Mm.
Best podcast.
Oh, I haven't looked at this. Is there still a chance that I've won this? No, there isn't. No.
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh well.
It was kind of a landslide victory
Yeah,
for
it
Team
was. Yeah.
Trails. Yeah.
Team Trails, well deserved. Yeah, they are a very popular um podcast. So yeah, well done to them. Is there any sort of the ones in the ones that sort of stand out from the other lists that you've sort of seen?
Yeah. Most voted over was the Brig Boys by a long, long way. So again, people taking the time out to type the Brig Boys in as opposed to picking one of the other ones they've seen
Mm.
says a lot. So
Young
again,
Hearts Run Free.
you never know. Yeah, Young Hearts Run Free had quite a lot, and just general Ali Bailey related pods as well had quite a lot of votes because she
Yeah,
sort of skipped between a couple
with
that slashed it.
numerous podcasts that she has
Yeah.
that she's on. Yeah, Bad Boy Running. Yeah, I'm surprised that Bad Boy Running didn't get more of a vote. With their big presence at the running show,
Mm,
and they've got quite a big following, especially on like Facebook and stuff. I know that they've got a
yeah.
lot of followers on there. So
One of the founding podcasts, really, aren't they, for running?
yeah, that's yeah, exactly. I think that was probably one of the first ultra running podcasts I started listening to, and before I sort of started listening to other stuff. Um,
But
yeah,
well
I
done, Team Trails.
yes, well done, Teen Trails. Yeah, excellent. Best podcast of 2024, Teen Trails. What we on to now? Oh, race photographer of the year. So this caused a little bit of controversy as well, didn't it? So not
Mm,
everybody appreciated being sort of volunteered for the list for this. Um, but again, that was no offense was intended with any of that. It was just we were sort of suggesting some names to get people thinking, to think about the races that they've been to and which photographers they've sort of seen knocking around, and and who was a sort of a good choice for photographer of the year. So, do you want to announce who's won it?
David Miller,
David Miller. He's everywhere. Good old David Miller.
do not block gate.
Do not, yeah, do not block gates. Yes. So, um, I think who was a close second. So, Steve Ashworth.
Steve Ashworth, yeah. There
Got
were also quite a lot of votes for Will Harper Penrose
yeah.
and Andrew Swales. Quite a lot of people again taking time to type their names in.
Ian Cole.
Couple for Tom Hoyle and Jamie Rutherford as well.
Or spine photographers. I like how I threw a couple of spine photographers in there. John Bamber and obviously Will Roberts, who looks after the media team and stuff. And John will be pleased to know that John Bamber, you got more votes as a race photographer than Will Roberts. So whether Will or be might be annoyed by that, I don't know. John, who's famous for his chili more than his well, he's not famous for his chili more than his photography, but um, they're both good photographers in their own rights, as is everybody on the list, and as is everybody that was suggested as well. So we appreciate people, taking the time out to think about who they thought was, an outstanding photographer in the
Absolutely.
space. So yeah, David Miller, well deserved. He's come up with some great work, hasn't he? And
He has, yeah. I've got a copy of his work of Barkley Marathons as well, and it is a real joy to flick through.
yeah, yeah, good photographer. Okay, we're romping through now. Where are we? We are on to the next.
Best race.
Ooh, best race. Oh, where do we throw in the green runners?
We can do a green runners now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
should we do the green
yeah.
runners now? So can you if you got it on your phone because I sent it to you, didn't I? And
You did.
um, so AJ from the Green Runners, I was pestering him, so I'd asked him for initially I'd asked him for most sustainable race and most sustainable brand, but they quite rightly sort of pointed out they didn't want to do sort of favor a brand and point people towards a brand. They would rather have just done races, and they've done two races. They picked a big race and they picked a small like local race, haven't they? So for the
Yeah.
most sustainable race, big race is
Marathon de Mont Blanc for their laudable efforts on reducing participant travel emissions.
Hmm,
So yeah, they mentioned in 2025, in order to reduce our environmental impact, 40% of race numbers will be reserved for participants who commit to coming to Chamonix by train or bus,
yeah,
which is great.
yeah, that is good,
Great.
isn't it? Yeah.
Do you want to do the small event as well?
Yeah, and then the Green Runners pick for the most sustainable small race was
Flower Scar Fell Race, organised by Bob Halstead, encourages public transport, encourages car sharing, and also has a raffle for anyone who has travelled there by public transport, cycled or on foot, and the winner gets 50 quid.
there you go. Brilliant. That's pretty good for a fell race, 50 quid. Normally it's
Not
the
bad, then. That'll pay for about the next 10 years entry.
pork pie and a sandwich. Yeah, so we appreciate AJ and I can't remember who else, Laura
And
um
Dave,
they and David, they sort of batted those around between them and trying to decide on who was the most sustainable races out there. So we appreciate the Green Runners spending some time to give us those winners. Okay, what are we on to now? We are on
we'll do
to
best race now as we're talking about races.
I keep saying what are we on to now, and it's because I have to scroll through like hundreds and hundreds of like things that people have suggested. So okay, yeah, best race of 2024.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. So we put as a proviso on there as well, haven't we? The one that you've personally done or are involved with as a volunteer. Um, so just looking down the list of ones that people had sort of suggested. It's pretty like varied actually. There isn't
Mm.
like many that sort of keep reoccurring on there. People
I've
have
narrowed it down a little bit. We've
have you?
had quite a lot of Lakeland 50 and 100 mentions.
Yeah, there is
Uh,
actually right. Hard
Hardmoors,
Hardmoors,
a lot. Yeah. Highland Fling.
Ring of Fire.
Yeah. South Downs Way 100 had a couple. Stanza Stones got quite a few.
Yeah.
race across Scotland, Winter Downs
Yeah, that's good.
200, Rangers Ultra, Yorkshire Three Peaks had a few.
Yes, yes, still be pleased with that. That got quite a few votes. That's one of, I think that is one of Stu's most popular races, I think.
Mm,
Yeah, but in the end, the juggernaut that is the Spine race won with 36, nearly 37% of the vote. Um, so obviously people, were quite freely were free to sort of make their own suggestions,
yeah.
and obviously this is whether people kind of, I don't know, I don't want to sort of say that people take the lazy option and just pick one of the suggestions that are already there. Um, I don't know. We've always said that this is just something to get people thinking, to
Mm,
try and try and suggest something. But obviously going forward next year, we are going to narrow this down, aren't we? We're going to send
yeah.
out suggestions. No, we're going to send out a survey. People are going to put their suggestions on there. Then we're going to see which are the most popular, and then that will make the final
Yeah,
list. People
exactly.
then vote on.
And
Uh,
also after this, I'm going to make sure that we release the lists, well, almost all of the lists of the other mentions, just so I would want to know what
yeah,
are good races to choose. And this is like a gold mine
yeah,
for, 1,000 people have written down what's a good race or what's a good bit of kit.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll make sure to share the all
Even like
the
race, even
knowledge.
just like picking races, just like you go through that list of races that people have, and you're like, yeah, you could like spend years just going through that list of races, and they're just obviously, you know, the majority of them are all obviously like UK races, aren't there? I don't think there's many international ones on there other than sort of uh, like UTMB and stuff. So you could spend you could spend years going through that list. So yeah, you're quite right. Actually, I think that's something that we need to do is make the
Mm,
list of ones that people have suggested, make that available to people to sift through if they want to look there. But yeah, the Spine race was the clear winner there with nearly 40% of the votes compared to everything else. It continues to be an enigma in the right
yeah,
in our niche of a niche sport, and we no everybody knows I love the race, and most people love the race. Even if you're not that into running, people still follow the race, don't they? So it's one of those races, isn't it, that everybody loves.
exactly.
Excellent. Right.
Best
Best
international. Yeah.
best international trail and ultra runner. Yeah. So obviously, I think there's actually people have actually suggested people that are
Mhm.
actually on the list already.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite random. Um, but actually, yeah. So the one that was suggested the most on there was the most on the other section is it looks like it's Courtney Dauwalter, doesn't it?
Yeah, by quite a long way.
Yeah. So what are the final results of that then? Did you sort of look into that?
So Courtney Dauwalter had 48 votes, which didn't quite sneak into the top six of the suggested that we had.
Yeah.
But if you were gonna type in a name, then it was absolutely her, uh,
Yeah.
who people reckoned was the best last year. And honestly, like we had Jim Walmsley won,
Yeah.
but I put Courtney Dauwalter's year way above his last year.
Mm.
So it's interesting that maybe people just familiar with the name just assume he's had. I mean, he still won Western States, but
Yeah, I mean that performance at Western States was pretty epic, wasn't it?
yeah,
Considering he'd not
I
had the
suppose, yeah.
and then he was pushed onto all the way to that finish.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I think for me, I know we're not sort of including our opinions
no,
on, but
couldn't help it then.
David Roach for me has been like I used to try to listen to his podcast, and I used to find it too
Mm,
too not too happy, but as an Englishman, as reserved Englishman, somebody who's very sort of eccentric and an extra, they don't always make for the best listening for a British person. But
mm,
over time, I've grown to love David Roach and Megan Roach and the stuff that they put out, and listening to, I think particularly for me, is like listening to him talk so openly about his racing and his running and all the things he's doing to make himself a better runner. That I really appreciate that, because it seems like sometimes with the elites, it's a bit of a closed door, isn't it? That you don't get to see what's going on, and he's kind of like behind the velvet curtain. He's like, come and see what come and see what we're doing. So for me, he was, I was going to say he would have been my pick for best international runner, ultra runner, trail runner, but Jim Walmsley wins again.
Katie Scheid was second in the
Yes.
votes, quite close. I actually would have probably voted for her.
Yeah, yeah, she's
Yeah.
she's interested, isn't she? Because she spends a lot of her time in Europe, and she was well known, even though she's a US runner. She was sort of
Mm,
more well known in Europe than she was in her home sort of country. But that tide has sort of turned now, isn't it? Now she's sort of
mm.
internationally recognised with all the great things she's done.
Indeed. Okay, next one.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, we've got FKT or round of the year. So this is UK and international. So it could be any FKT from anywhere in the world. And the clear winner with 40% of the vote was Tara Dower with the Appalachian Trail. So we did sort of alter this, didn't we? Because I think initially one of the things we corrected was we just put like FKT of the year, didn't we? But we didn't sort of state where it had to be, whether it was a UK thing or whether it was an international thing. And I'm still like undecided about. Originally, the idea was that we keep everything UK because the UK hasn't really had any like awards for trail running and ultra running, really, like that's sort of as public as we're trying to do it. I wasn't sure whether we ought to have been doing international or not. But when that the fact that Tara Dower like absolutely like destroyed every record on that FKT, it wasn't just like a women's record. It was an outright
Yeah.
overall record, and it was considerable time that she knocked off, wasn't it? So
Ahead of a guy who's finished the Barkley Marathons, nonetheless.
yeah, 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 and yeah, he was advising her on what to do, and yeah, she knocked it out of the park there. What are some of the ones that have sort of popped into the other section where people have suggested?
Yeah, so we had Tara Dower first, then Dan Lawson, then Imo Body.
Yeah,
All pretty close votes wise. And then the most voted for in the other section was Gavin Dale for his Winter Bob Graham.
yeah,
And then there was a whole host of other things. Sarah Perry's Southwest Coast Path got quite a few mentions.
yeah.
A couple mentions for Finley Wild's Dark Bob Graham Unsupported,
Mm,
which is different to Gavin's and should be mentioned, to be fair.
yeah,
Few people, Killian Jornet for his Alpine Connections
yeah.
madness.
Massive project.
Yeah. A couple late entries for Carol Morgan, Winter Wainwrights.
Yeah, that came in late, didn't it? It's a shame we didn't have a bit more time on that one.
Yeah, I think maybe we might include that next year because she finished it in 2025. So
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, she started it in 2024.
yeah, but it deserves its accolade, doesn't it? Matt Evans, Welsh Shreve Peaks, a couple mentions, and AJ Hansfeld for his double paddy record as well.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. Yeah. So I think a good shout out to Dan Lawson and Mo Body,
Mm.
with two Brits,
Yeah,
doing what they do best. So special mention to them. But obviously the clear winner was Tara Dow with the Appalachian Trail.
yeah.
Awesome. What's next?
Outstanding performance
Cool.
of the year.
This one got a lot of votes, didn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So first place was Jasmine Paris at the Barkley Marathons, and Jack Scott second. You would think that this would be a lot closer. I thought it'd be a bit closer than this,
Yeah,
but
I did too.
70% of the vote for Jasmine and 15% for Jack.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Yeah. I mean, it is like it is fair enough that it is them 1 and 2, isn't it?
Mhm.
But it is quite a vast difference there, isn't there? So she absolutely has got the vote there with 70%, hasn't she?
Yeah, yeah, she does. Yeah, third place, Sarah Perry's Backyard, and then Gavin Dale's Winter Bob, with a few other mentions for Immo Bodies, FKT.
Yeah, there's quite a few mentions of that in the in
Yeah,
the in the other section. But when you look at that list of stuff though, it's amazing, isn't it? Like what people have done
yeah, all
this
in
year,
1 year.
all in one year. I mean, even like on like a slow year, Gavin Dale's like Bob Graham would have been like people would have been talking about that for a long time, and they obviously are talking about it. I'm
Yeah,
reading recently about it, and but there's just such amazing things going on in ultra running and trail running, which is obviously like one of the reasons why we wanted to do this,
mm,
because it feels like part of the problem that we sort of felt with the media was that people aren't getting recognised for the amazing, outstanding things that they do, and and that's exactly it with that category, outstanding performance of the year.
exactly.
Awesome. Right.
Last one.
Last but by no means least, we have the big one, Ultra Runner of the Year. So if you're on the live, you're listening out for this one. So Ultra Runner of the Year. So we'll just go through who was suggested anyway. So suggested was Jasmine Paris, Jack Scott, Sarah Perry, friend of the show, Mark Derbyshire, Dan Lawson, Gavin Dale, and then going through the other section. I think it's fair that we ought to sort of read these out. So somehow Kate Allen from Run Ultra was first on that list
Yeah,
for Ultra Runner of the Year. You can vote for yourself. That's fine. Maybe somebody else voted for her. Hannah Rickman, Lucy Gossage, Courtney DeWalter, Alan Risk, Edwina Sutton, Alan Risk again, Dougie Selman, Chris Jones, Adrian Martin, Vincent Bulliard, Gavin Dale, Jake Dearden, Aaron Jones, Katie Scheid, Brig Boys, Josh Wade, John Kelly, Caspian James, Imo Body, Imo Body, Imo Body, for what 5 times in a row.
yeah.
Tom Evans,
And then
not,
Tom Evans right at the end.
and he's
So
not.
someone voted for Tom Evans on Christmas Day.
It may have been Tom Evans himself.
It could
Looking
have been.
down the list, John Album, David Roach, Imo Body, Emma Stewart, Courtney DeWalter. How do you pronounce Merging Gertz?
Yes.
It's
I
Kevin.
imagine that's one of the backyard Belgians.
It is, yeah, it is, yeah. Hannah Rickman makes another appearance. Mel Sykes, honourable mention. Holly Stables, Claire Heath's
Heatherside again. Claire.
side again. She's
Yeah.
there. A couple of mentions. Camille Herron, and actually, just thinking, Camille's not really been mentioned much at all, has she? She
No.
appeared in a couple of them, but yeah, this is it. This is the big one. This is the one that we've been working up to. So, Ultra Runner of the Year is
Jasmine Paris.
Jasmine Paris, obviously. Well done, Jasmine. We knew we kind of had an inkling that it was probably going to be
Yeah.
Jasmine. But
65% of the vote.
yeah,
Jack Scott second with 11%, and then Sarah Perry with 9.66%, or a rounded up 10%. Pretty close to second.
yeah, it was a close second there, Sarah. Yeah, you
Mark
know,
Derbyshire fourth.
Mark Derbyshire. Yeah, Dan Lawson, Gavin Dale. Yeah, so basically
Yeah,
that's it.
that's it.
Ultra Runner of the Year, Jasmine Paris. So, have we decided what we're doing? We've spoken about how uh, how quickly we got all this together. Have we decided what we're doing about trophies and that kind
No, no, we have not decided, but
of
we
that?
will. At the very least, things will get a shout out.
Yeah, Carl's telling us big boys in every category. Yeah,
Yeah, they were, yeah. And rightly so.
yeah,
No, no. We've not decided what to do about trophies, but I'm sure we
yeah.
can think of something.
We haven't decided yet what we're going to do with trophies. But this is all, like we said, this is all part of the evolution of the Trail and Ultra Running Awards. So as we go forwards through 2025, we're going to refine things. There's even talk of making it an actual in-person awards ceremony. That could be interesting, where we'll all have to dress up in bow ties and be posh. I walked downstairs in my suit and tie, and my girl said with a cap on, and they like looked at me in disgust and said that you look like you're off School of Rock.
That's spot on. That is spot on.
Not a compliment, no.
Are you in shorts with that suit? That's
Well, I'm wearing my pajama bottoms, so
Angus Young style.
yes, yeah, exactly, yeah, a bit of
Yeah.
AC/DC.
Yeah.
Right, so that's it basically. Appreciate everybody that's come on the Zoom and sat in the audience for us. Next year, hopefully we'll possibly have sort of more of an in-person event. We'll see what happens. We've taken on board everybody's suggestions. I'll be at the Spine next week, so I'll be trying to avoid being punched by Sarah Perry again. Whether that will happen or not. Yeah, but we are. I think the whole Sarah Perry thing brings up a point that we sort of said to her that we view this as like a collaboration between all of us. So we're trying to make something happen. We've sort of stuck our necks out, and obviously people have swung for it on a few occasions, but we have stuck our necks out to try and get this going. So we're hoping that it sort of keeps progressing as the years go on, and it becomes bigger and better than we sort of ever imagined it could be, hopefully, and it won't be just me and you just recording and you in your office and me in my bedroom. Hopefully it'll be something a bit more in the future. So yeah, we appreciate everybody coming on board. Thanks, Pete Henley, for your message just then. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hopefully if you were on the Zoom, you've given your consent to being recorded, even though nobody said anything. Were you going to be part of the podcast? So we appreciate everybody coming on. Any final thoughts, Robin?
No, just thank you everybody for believing that it can work, and I think we've got some great people behind it. So I don't see any reason why it can't continue to grow, because we've got the support of some of the best people in the sport.
Yeah.
So I mean, what more can we ask for than that?
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll just keep pushing it. The more support we get, the bigger it'll get, and I believe it'll get there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, bigger and better things. We're moving on. We're moving on up. Right. Appreciate everybody for coming on. I'll now end the live. Thanks to everybody for joining us on the live. And I appreciate it. You might not have been able to hear everything because of technical issues with trying to sort of sync up with all of the accounts, but hopefully you heard enough of it to be able to enjoy it. And if not, then you can sort of listen to the recording of the podcast. It will go on. We'll put that on YouTube, and it will be on podcasts wherever you get your podcasts from. So we'll try and stick that on as soon as possible. I'll try and get it on tonight, actually, so people can sort of listen to it tomorrow. So thanks for coming on, everyone. How do I end it? There we go. Brilliant. Right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you. See you
Cheers.
soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you next year.